Hello. Um, I don't know if I'm getting good at saying hello at the right time or not, but feel free to let me know down there in the comments if I'm saying hi at the right time. Let me say hi to the chat. Okay. Um, the Fandom Menace. Okay. So the first thing we gotta. Okay. So what I want to talk about is what can the Fandom Menace learn from a horror fan? Now, okay, first of all, where am I? Okay, so there is super mega fandom section, right? And of all of the, the sort of casual things in life, I would say politics is number one, but is that a hobby or am I just addicted to it? I don't know. It for some reason it's impossible for me to not think about it. I don't know if it's an obsession, a passion, do I like it? Or what, but whatever. Far right libertarian. That's who I am. Libertarian, basically, which is far right. But you need to be super, super smart to understand that, and that's not what we're talking about here. Um, but outside of horror, or sorry, outside of that, it would be horror movies. I don't really want to invest a whole lot of time in really anything. Like I can, it's weird because I could watch a long live stream, not too long, not EFAP long, but I can watch, like YouTube videos quite a bit, but I would never want to watch, like, because I don't know, like TV just seems like it's too much of an investment. Now, I have watched TV and I have seen TV, obviously, but not really. In my adulthood, I just don't care about television. I can watch a movie, but I don't know. I'd rather. I think maybe learn something, or just hear people's perspectives on whatever. That sort of thing. Talk radio, if you will. Let's be honest. A lot of YouTube is really just talk radio. The kid. When I was a little child, right? And the old people were listening to talk radio. Talk radio. We'd be like, oh my god, this is so boring. Why don't you put on the music? And now fucking everybody's watching YouTube, which is basically talk radio, right? I don't understand the difference. I don't understand what happened. I don't understand why radio couldn't do what YouTube is doing today, but whatever. Maybe it's the visual part of it. Maybe it's the sort of more kooky looky wooky YouTube stuff. Whereas the radio was kind of square and news and philosophy oriented, kind of dry. I don't know, but you would think that something is as popular as YouTube, which, let's be honest, a lot of it is just sitting and watching people talk. Now, I guess there is a visual part to it, but how much how much of YouTube actually has an important visual element to it? I don't know. I don't know. Would people tune into PewDiePie as much if there was no visual? What's more important, the audio or the visual, or both? I don't know. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So I'm a fan of horror, but of that grouping of people that like horror movies or that really like it, it's the only thing I watch. But I only watch a couple a year. It's literally only a few per year that I watch. And that's all I watch. Well, it's what 90% of what I watch. I'm done with comic. I'm done with Hollywood. I mean, these movies are so bad. These shoot. Um oh no. Okay, that's better. Sorry about that, guys. I'm new at this, and I forgot to change the title. Um, Now, okay, back to it. Um, so if I have, most of it is politics, admittedly, and philosophy, but horror is up there, and I am a horror fan. But of the grouping of horror fan people, I'm at the bottom. Like, I don't buy all the movies. I don't watch all the movies. You know, there are people that just love horror so much that they watch all of the movies, and every horror movie ever made is somewhere between a like and a love. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Star Trek. There are people that just are going to watch every single little tiny microscopic everything, and they're going to either like it or love it. Right? And that, that's, I guess, important. That's a thing. And I fall into that category in a very, 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 very microscopically small piece of horror. There is a sub genre of horror movies that I'm guaranteed to like or love. Actually, I pretty much love them all. There is a certain type of film that can be made that I am guaranteed to either really like or love. Every single movie in this subgenre of horror movie is either a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm fully aware of my bias. I completely admit that it's stupid. I completely admit that these movies could be, and oftentimes are, objectively absolute trash. Absolute garbage. This thing that I am talking about right here, right now, is equivalent to liking to eat poop. And I'm not joking. Okay? There are people on planet Earth that like to eat poop. Okay? But there's only 4 of them. You know what I mean? There's only 4 people on planet Earth that like to eat poop. But they do exist. And it's rare, and you can very, very, very properly, objectively say that these people are stupid. They like to eat poop. They're dumb. They make no sense. It's wrong. They are incorrect. You're absolutely, all of that is all good. It is all good. I'm not one of those guys that everything is okay for everyone and nothing matters and nothing. Yeah, well, he just likes to eat poop. That doesn't mean he's wrong. I don't play this stupid game, right? I'm a right winger. Now, but so when I talk about this type of whatever, I present my bias honestly and open. I have to say it all the time. I have to say it. Now, generally speaking, us horror fans, we have to hang out together by ourselves. Why? Because we all, every single one of us, all of us, every one of us, rates horror higher than other people. It's just that simple. It's like if you really love basketball, you're going to want to hang out with other people that really love basketball. You are not, N-O-T, not going to want to hang out with people that like hockey. Basketball and hockey are both sports, but they're both different. Right? And it's the same thing with horror, with a certain maybe style or type or of movie. You are probably, I'm talking to the Fandom Menace, you are a comic book fan. You are Star Wars fan. You are Star Trek. You are You know what you are. You like that stuff. There is a certain sort of, geeky, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever. I don't mind. Those things are okay to me. I can enjoy a little bit of it now and again. But generally speaking, I say no. This whole MCU thing, I'm so fucking over it. I haven't seen the Joker, and I don't want to. You guys need to stop fucking hogging all the movies, because you're gonna kill everything. It's literally all fucking comic books and kids now. A little bit of horror. But like all of the other genres of movies are dead. And that's scary. Comic books, kids, and The Rock, and a little bit of horror. That's it. That was last year. It's all comic books and kids movies. That's fucking scary. You know, I can see once in a while there being a freaking comic book movie, even a couple times a year. But not a couple times a month. Jesus Christ. Really? This dying industry, this dead thing over here, that really doesn't even make a whole lot of sense. Most of these movies are crap. And don't talk to me about fucking canon. You know, like, okay, so this is how we're going to start to go down this road. This is why my mouth is moving. The purpose of it. The canon that you guys keep talking about, I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Has Batman been the same Batman in all the Batman? Like, no, not even close. Batman changes all the fucking time. If I were to take a look at Batman in, I don't know, 1950 versus 1970 versus 1990 and 2010, they're going to be all different Batmans, right? For God's sakes, the first comic book movie I ever saw, yes, I am old, I am a very old man, was Superman. And he fucking, I believe I saw it at the drive-in, and he ripped the S off of his shirt and threw it. It sort of duplicated itself, and it turned into this S tinfoil, and he threw it at the bad guy, and then the tinfoil, grew, and it enveloped the bad guy, and then it pushed him off the fucking cliff. Might have been the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I still like the movie. The movie was still good. Um, Now, I don't know what the Superman people at the time were saying. Were all the Superman fans just beating fucking? Well, there was no internet. There was none of that shit that you got today. Okay, stop that. You got to get your head out of that. All that stuff. They weren't going on fucking Twitter. There was no internet. So were they fucking getting together at their fucking, you know, once a year Superman conventions and just talking each other's ear off about how terrible that the S, on the outfit thrown at the bad guy thing was in the movie? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe they were. Maybe all the Superman guys were just so fucking. But then you go back, you use your brain, and you just keep thinking, and you just don't stop using it. You use it all over the place, right? You use it, you use it, you use it. And then you go, the beginning Superman, he couldn't fly. He could leap tall buildings in a single bound, but he couldn't fly. So Superman himself has been changing all over the place. And then there's the fucking this change and that change and that change and this change, and it's fucking changing all over the place. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, I'm talking about the Fandom Menace here today. Okay, I do know what you're talking about, though. I do and I do not. Okay? We'll get there. Sit tight. Sit back, relax, and just put on your ears, okay? And open up your brain. It's not that, they didn't get Dark Phoenix right. It's that the bitch comes out in the movie trailer, says, I don't know why you keep calling this X-Men. It's the women doing all the work around here. That, and it was a shitty movie. So it was a shitty movie, and it's like and it's the agenda. The shit. The agenda just adds the shit, right? Adds to the shit. Was there an agenda in Joker? Honestly, I haven't seen it. I'm fucking done with the comic book shit. I'm fucking done. But, to me, from what I've heard, it actually was both, or either. You could literally see this as a pro-left movie, or you could literally see this as a pro-right movie. And your bias, your own personal bias, you can make it a lefty movie, or you can make it a righty movie. It's up to you. You can say the poor man, got his welfare taken away, and then he went nuts because the big daddy government should be paying for everybody, of course. But then you could say, well, see, keeping these people all fucking moneyed up doesn't fucking do anything. They're just going to be crazy, wacko, useless fucking turds anyway. Why are we keeping these people alive with food and shelter and all the rest of it? Just fucking what if you don't keep paying them, then they're gonna go all fucking wacky? That doesn't sound right. So, you can look at it either way. You could say, well, he really got back at those Wall Street people on the subway, but he also got back at his black, sort of imaginary girlfriend next door. Well, part black. I hate it when you call. I don't. I hate the one drop rule. I fucking hate it. Barack Obama is just as black as he is white, and I get fucking tired of people mixing that up. But anyway, um, still a shitty president. Terrible, terrible. Just as bad as Barack Obama or George Bush. Terrible, fucking terrible. Actually, who was worse? I think Bush was worse. You know, the TSA, the wars, the bailouts. I think it was worse. But Obama continued the wars, continued the bailouts, and he also created all sorts of fucking racial tensions and hatred with his dumbass fucking racist mouth. Fucking dummy. Yeah, all this Trump derangement syndrome that you see out there, it actually started under Obama. Obama was one of the worst. Do you remember at the funeral of those Dallas cops that were shot protecting the Black Lives Matter? See, all that Black Lives Matter, that was all going down when Trump was still liked. Trump hadn't even become a Nazi yet. The left still thought that Trump was the best thing since sliced bread when the fucking all this bullshit was going down. Oh, I digress. So I have to be honest with you guys over here in, Star Trek world or Doctor Who world or whatever. You could, how should I say this? You just want good content and you don't want their politics shoved down your throat. Now, okay. See, the problem is your bars have been set really high. Like Star Trek. I don't know how good or how big did the Next Generation, how big did Star Trek get? Those movies are not as big as you want to believe that they are. Like those Star Trek movies are not as big and successful as you think that they are in your head. They're not that successful as you've got them in your head. There's not as many of you Star Trekkies out there as you imagine. Those movies ain't doing so good. They're not doing terrible, but they ain't doing great either. JJ attempted to dump a bunch of money in, a fuck ton of money into the mix, and that didn't help. He did it twice. It didn't help. Still got the same percentage of return as the others. And they're not out, like, a couple of them are, like, anyway, I would say they're poor to fair. Your Star Trek movies are poor financially, poor to fair. All of them fit in that. I think, if I recall correctly, which I'm pretty sure I am correct. They're not doing that great. The TV shows, I've never seen them at number one. They've never been the biggest thing on TV. Never. Maybe they were 10th or 20th or 30th or whatever. I don't know. But they're not that big. They have a little niche, crowd. But they're not that big. And why am I saying this? It's because that means that there's not a lot of money in it. And with the decline of Hollywood in general, the decline of people watching TV, the kids are playing video games. They're not watching television. They're not watching your Star Trek, your beloved Star Trek. They're not doing it. They're either partying, or playing video games. Do they even watch TV anymore? Maybe they watch wrestling. Um, I know kids that watch that. Um, I still know kids that read books. Stephen King fanatics. I think TV is a thing of the past. Commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial. The last time I watched friggin' television, I remember, and by the way, I don't watch television. I'm at a friend's house, and the TV is on, and I just remember him watching this program or whatever it was. I can't remember. This is years ago, by the way. Because usually when I come over, there's no TV. Because I'll just talk through it anyway. No sense putting it on. Because I don't know how to shut up for television. I'm not one of those people. Because I don't watch it myself. If I'm coming over, we're going to spend some time together. I want to fucking watch TV. It's the last thing I want to do. But anyway, it does attract my eyes for a little bit. Right? For a little bit. And I just remember... the Papa, whatever it was. I think it was a reality show of something. And it said, okay, it sort of stopped, and then it was like, coming up on this television show, and then they show a preview. A preview. So it's about a 30-second, maybe, coming up on ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and then they showed a preview. And then it was fucking commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial. And it's worse in Canada than it is in the States, by the way. And then the commercials end, and then the show starts up. But it goes so far on ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, the name of the TV show, and then it shows what's already happened. So they literally are showing a preview, or I guess a summary of what has already happened up to this point. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So this entire thing, even if you count what's coming up on, and then the preview plus the commercials, that's like half of the runtime of the entire show. And the reason why they do that coming up on is because the commercials are so long. They need to entice you to fucking stay through the commercials. Convince you to stay watching the fucking Tide and the chocolate bar and the Big Mac and the automobile and the fucking whatevers, right? Entice you to stay through the commercials. But there were so many commercials, by the time they get back to the show, they have to remind you of what you were watching. And they wonder why TV is dying. And, of course, the show was stupid, and I wasn't interested, and then, I do that maybe twice, and then I'm just talking, and then we shut the TV off, put the radio on, and then, have a chat. Order some pizza or something. That's life with me and television. But I'm getting really off topic. What I'm saying is, everything is going downhill. Everything Hollywood, TV, movies, it's all the same. It's been all going downhill. The reason... There's many reasons for why Hollywood is failing. But lack of money, or sorry, I shouldn't say lack of money. Lack of mountains of money. Lack of mountains of money. So much money that you can literally just fuck up all over the place and still be rolling in dough. Mountains of money. That's one of the problems. So they have to scale back. So they can't. So and so they people get greedy with one another about who's gonna make the money off of this movie or that movie. If you rewind time, you can see movies that make 100, 50, 100, 200 times its production budget and beyond. Today, if you get 10 times your production budget, that's considered a smash hit. Avengers Endgame didn't make 10 times its production budget. Cost $300 million to make, and it didn't make $3 billion. Made like 9 times its production budget. So, just think of think of any of the big, you know, smash hits of the past. Star Wars, I think that was 200 times its production budget. It was some insane amount. 200 times its production budget. Of course, you've got mountains of you're swimming in cash. You can just buy, buy ideas from everywhere. But I don't know, I think maybe part of it is they just can't afford good writers or something, like I don't know. But I do know that there's been a steady decline. It's like Terminator is dead. But it was dead a long time ago. There was really no SJW politics in Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, or Terminator Genesis. You could say there was a little bit with the girl power, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna, I guess I'd have to watch them again to see the exact. But what about Alien? Alien is dead. I haven't even seen. I'm a horror movie guy, and yes, I consider Alien. I'm picky with what gets considered horror or not. Godzilla is not horror. No, 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 not. So I'm picky. It has to be horror for me to put it into horror. But Alien, because the first movie is very horror, and there is elements of horror in all the others, I put this franchise in horror, in the horror column. And I haven't even seen the last one. Watching the first Alien was such a beautiful experience. I had an outer body experience watching Alien for the first time. I'm gonna take a minute and tell you how this came to be. I had an uncle who moved far up north. In Canada, we do a lot of that. We go north because there's nobody else there and it's beautiful. Some people call it cottage country. You can only really do it in the summer, but some people do it, year long. You have to be a pretty strong person, and you have to, it's a thing, right? Like all that snow out in the middle of nowhere, that's a big fucking deal. You got to have lots of money and you have to have your shit together. You have to have a snowplow, right? In order to just get to the road. And sometimes even then you need more, you have to plow your own road. It's a tough living. And by the way, they heated their house with firewood. Anyway, so my uncle moved up north. They bought 100 acres. They cleared out an area in the middle of their property, and they built a house. They built their own house with the logs with the trees they just cut down. It was one massive. It was huge, huge rectangle. So it wasn't like fancy or anything, but it was massive. It was huge. Massive basement. I don't know, 50 feet ceilings. Now, that was in the main room, which was sort of the living room and kitchen. And then off the other side, there was the bedrooms and the bathroom. But then there was the loft above that. And the basement was massive. Absolutely humongous. It was as big as it was just massive, right? And we would go up there. And actually, while it was being built, they lived at a trailer park for a couple years while the house was being built. And we used to go up quite regular, once or twice a year, to visit them for the weekend. Couple hours drive, 3-4 hours drive. And when I don't know what it was, but I just got to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. I didn't have bedtimes. Well, I did during the week for school and stuff, but that was it. My parents didn't care after that. And especially when we were doing something special, I really got to do whatever the hell I want. I could stay up all night if I wanted to. They wouldn't care. Do whatever I wanted. I guess within reason. I couldn't fucking, go somewhere. But I remember, being 13 and working until 6 a.m. in the morning, and that just broke my parents' spell of curfews. It's like, oh my, our son is working all night long on weekends. So, we can't, there's no curfew going. Anyway, so everybody went to bed, okay? So, here I am in this log cabin in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere. And in this log cabin, this beautifully big, super huge, mega perfect log cabin. And I'm by myself. I'm still awake enough, or I feel like being awake. I'm kind of excited. Maybe it was the first night. I don't know. I was excited. Maybe I slept in that day. I don't know. I have no clue. But I was alone. There's no street lights. There's no lights. Right? And it was a pretty open concept home. So the lights were all turned off. And this is kind of before biggity big electronic things. Before big electronic things. So the television was this little tiny square in the middle of in the corner of this massive room. Massive. Bigger than bigger than big. Like I said, 50-foot ceilings. It was a living room and kitchen. Both were massive. It was one huge room. I don't know, 50 feet by 50 feet by 50 feet. Something like that. It was huge. And I was by myself. And I just started flipping around the TV channel. And then I saw, you could just tell, right? I saw, a movie is starting. A movie is starting. And it was called Alien. And I remember hearing that the music in the beginning of that movie hasn't even started yet. The beginning. Second number 1 of the film. And I was already spellbound. I was in a trance. The music continued to build as the camera panned out of outer space, and the words alien slowly started to appear, line by line, slow, music build, panning across the universe. And I'm not going to go into the entire thing, but it's probably the best television watching experience I've ever had in my life. And it was the movie Alien. By myself in this great big huge room in the middle of the woods, but not by myself. Like safety is just nearby, but I'm literally, and I'm maybe 10 years old, something along those lines. So I remember beautiful, spiritual, moving, um, you know, media consuming experiences. Now, maybe you have those with Star Trek all the time, or you used to have them all the time. Maybe you have them every single time you see Batman. You have that, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Maybe you have a similar type of thing. I don't think you're having as time as I did, because mine was a trillion out of 10. It was an infinity experience. It's a once in a lifetime. Like, there's not many other times. Like, I mean, Wizard of Oz. I remember Rocky Horror Picture Show. I was mesmerized. Halloween. Um, I would say those are the big ones. Um, I still think that I was a little bit maybe too old and jaded. I didn't quite absorb the Lord of the Rings as well as I should have. I think it's the best series of movies ever. Um, but for some reason, it didn't click me the right way. It didn't punch me in the face quite the correct way. But I've had absolute spiritual experiences, and Alien is a horror movie. That movie was beautiful. I consider these infinity out of 10 movies, I consider them beautiful. That's what I call a beautiful movie. How do I define it? A beautiful movie is a movie that um, sucks you in so much that the world ceases to exist. The world around you literally drops out of universe, drops out of reality, and all there is the movie or the TV show or whatever it is. The book, the comic book, whatever. Everything else ceases to exist because you are transfixed. And you never want it to end. You want the experience to go on and on and on and on and on. That, to me, is about as good as anything gets. And that's my number one everything. Okay? Now, I don't know where you're at with your things or what have you. I don't know. But I'm going to give you a for example. I have not even seen Alien Covenant. I'm not interested. I'm done. I mean, if indeed, which it was, Alien is this thing that just moved me spiritually in every way, every way, every way, right? That was my jam. Infinity out of 10. That's what I score it as. The best movie watching experience of my life. Now look at it. Now look at it. Look at the Alien franchise. Alien 2, or Aliens, another amazing, 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 amazing. But it's not quite infinity. Not to me, anyway. Once again, I am a horror fanatic, fan, whatever. Horror is number one to me. Horror beats all other things. Aliens was a fantastic, excellent, excellent, excellent 10 out of 10 follow-up. Beautiful. It's just not as much of my jam as horror. I really love Terminator and Terminator 2, but it's not really like action. It's just not as good to me as horror. There's something about horror. I just love being scared. The juices that it gets my brain doing, and just the tense and the scary cat. You should see me watch a fucking horror movie. I look like I've never seen one before. I'm jumping around scared, covering my eyes. I'm a fucking wreck. But I love it. Alien, I just remember that title screen, that word alien slowly coming onto the screen, and the music, and then the just panning in outer space. Oh my god. I'm an opening, I've realized that for some reason I've got a fetish for opening credits. I really do. Shining is another um, trillion out of 10 opening credits. I love it. Love it, love it, love it to fucking death. Oh my god, those opening credits. The title screen. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, yes, I have a fetish for opening credits and title screens. But now what? It's all gone. Now I don't even want to see the next. I mean, so Alien 3, I didn't, I know it has its fans. Some just refuse to admit that it's kind of bad or okay, kind of fair, just because, whatever. But I think universally by number 4, everybody was like, with that human alien queen hybrid thingamajig. Oh my god, what the fuck was that thing? And then just, and then Alien versus Predator. Actually, I like that one more than most. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. AVP 2 was crap. It was way too dark. And uh, then Prometheus comes. And now we're supposed to get back to form. The guy himself, I hate to break it to you guys really, you Star Wars people, really need to stop talking about George Lucas. Stop blowing smoke up his ass. He's the one that fucking did all the shit. He's the one that started the downhill slope. The special editions, the fucking everything he's fucking done since Star Wars. What, he got the thing going, okay, with a lot of help from a lot of people. It made every dollar everything, everywhere. It made all the money, all of it. It made every single penny there was. Okay, with that mountain of cash that him and, sort of Lucky, it was down, it is like he squished out a second one. And already by the third one, it was on a downward slope. No, it was still the third one. It was still very good, but again, still riding number 1 and squished out number 2 as well. But after that, like after number 2, you can definitely say that number 3 was downhill, just a little bit, but still. But after that, it was fucking, oh my god, midi-chlorians and fucking pod races and just fucking Jar Jar and oh my god. Special editions. Fucking just all sorts of nastiness. And he never did anything else. You don't have to when you have that kind of money. You can just keep massaging what you got. But even when he was massaging what he had, it was crap. And the reason I'm bringing him up is because look at this fucking Ridley Scott guy. Ridley Scott is coming back to put aliens back together again. To put Alien back together again. The man that started... By the way, did he do Blade Runner 2049? I don't even know. I didn't care. I wasn't a Blade Runner guy. I can understand why people thought it was great, but it was not for me. Again, I'm a horror guy. But he made Prometheus. And I was so fucking disappointed. Really? Space jockeys in fucking outfits, dissolving to create life, and then and then not liking it, and then killing, and then black goo, and then a different type of alien. What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck is going on? The fuck is this? What the fuck? Now, was there SJW politics in it? I don't know. Um, the girl head of the things, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know if that's enough to really justify calling it SJW anything. It was just garbage. Sometimes I think they're trying to SJW it up just because they don't know they're all out of ideas. They don't know what to do. So maybe if we can get the blue-haired feminists in to see the movie, then at least that's something. Maybe if we just do the movie and make it all black people instead of white people, then we'll get all the black people to come out and see it. At least that's something, right? Sometimes I don't think that all of this SJW stuff is necessary, but some of it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm seeing it all over here in my world of horror. But I think it's all just crap. I don't think it's all just agenda. I think sometimes, like I said, that the agenda is just a gimmick. The agenda is just, oh my god, we keep sucking over and over and over again. It's just crap after crap after crap after crap. Maybe if we try to appeal to the SJWs, the far left, whatever you want to call it, at least goddamn, all we have to do is ideologically align with them, and then we're gold. Look at all of television aligns with them, so why don't we just do that? Every single person on TV is a lefty. All the late night talk show hosts, we've been making money over there in the television world for a long time. Maybe everything being all lefty, all the talk show hosts are leftists. Daytime, nighttime, whatever. Who know? I don't know what's going on in soap operas, but all the TV shows, probably all the good people are probably lefties. I don't know. I don't watch TV, so I wouldn't know, but I can imagine that all the characters on television, all the good ones are lefties, and all the bad ones are Republicans, that sort of thing. Just like Tuesday follows Monday. But it's all just crap. It's not... Now, when they served me up a shitty movie, a shitty sequel or something, let's switch this over. When they serve us up something terrible, it's okay, so it's bad, right? But when they add the SJW stuff, it's like bad times 2. Right? It's just badder than bad. It was already bad, but now it's just bad in 2 ways. It was bad because it's bad, and it's bad because of the stupid politics. But what do you expect from people that don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore? Like, there is nothing good that is being made. Think about it. I've done this already. Every major good thing in I don't know much about the TV world, but I will include Game of Thrones. You got Game of Thrones, you got The Lord of the Rings. I'm talking about from 2000 on. Um, you got Big Bang Theory, but that's an exception. Okay. Um, so you got Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, um, uh, what's the other one? Um, Hunger Games. Guess what? Hollywood didn't make any of them. A writer, an author made those things. Hollywood just turned somebody else's good ideas into good movies. They didn't do it themselves. Hollywood is not creating this good stuff on their own. Hollywood doesn't know how to do it anymore. Whether it be nepotism or it's just the Hollywood machine is broken. It is incapable of making good content. Now you fighting over whether or not this Star Wars movie was good or this Star Trek movie was good or good or not or good or not or good. I'm telling you, there is a very, very, very clear line when Hollywood started to suck almost completely. The 90s was a mixed decade. In the 1990s, it was hit and miss. But since the year 2000, this entire millennium, and it's only going to get worse, from 2000 on, it's been downhill. There's no more creativity. The good movies don't exist. At best, you're going to get them adapting a good book to the that's it. You might get that now and again, but that's it. So when they are looking, like, just take a look at the screen right now. Look at all these horror icons. Has any of these been made good recently? Have they been able to grab at and okay, so some people say that um, was a smash hit and Michael Myers. This movie, I hate to break, a lot of my guys, my horror people, got out of seeing that movie 2018 and they were like, oh my god, that was the best movie ever. It's even better than the original. It's the best, it's the best, it's the best, it's the best. But it was all garbage brain bullshit. They've all come down and realized that, oh well, actually it was kind of just okay. It was another mediocre Halloween sequel, like all the rest. Maybe it's a little bit better than most of them, but it's kind of on par with some of them. There's been a lot of Halloween, and it's been torn to shreds. I was really excited about seeing this mask, and about seeing the butcher knife, and about, excited about John Carpenter's music all over again, right? Excited, 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 and my head was going to explode, and for the very all day, and all the next day, and the next day, and the next day, my head was just all swimming, and oh my god, that was the best thing ever. And I kept telling everybody that it was the best thing ever. It's even better than the original. And then 6 months down the road, when they watch it again, and some truth tellers, I could say it was probably like The Force Awakens. Some truth tellers started to come out and say, there was a lot of problems with that movie. There were some great elements to it. The music was pretty fucking cool. The mask was pretty cool. Michael Myers was usually pretty cool. There were some great scenes. But here are a bunch of problems. When he stomped on that head and it turned into a fucking watermelon, that was pretty dumb. Did Michael Myers really have time to carve out that cop's head like he did and put the flashlight in there? No. That Dr. Sartain twist was pretty stupid. How about his power level? Michael Myers is tearing through all these guys and just breaking them in two, breaking them like he's a force to be, he's just going to mow everything and everyone down. But then he gets hand to hand with Laurie Strode, and they're equal. Like he's struggling to fight off Laurie Strode, a 60-year-old woman, a brain kind of psychoed 60-year-old woman. Now I get it. He's a 60-year-old man or 70, but he's also been shown to tear people apart already in this movie. He's literally taking people and breaking them in half. I don't mean literally, I mean metaphorically literally. I mean, that's how big and strong and how much of a force he is. But then he does a hand-to-hand with Laurie Strode. What is this, some feminism bullshit? Like you have to show that Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are equal in strength when you just got finished showing him picking people up and breaking them in half. Men, actually, he kills mostly men in this movie. He kills a couple of girls, but most of the people that he kills are men. Anyway. And then, banh mi sandwich, and then the peanut butter on my penis, and then the fucking pudding phone. Like, there's a lot of... And it ends up just being kind of a mediocre whatever. So... But it's always been like that. Friday the 13th, the last movie that they made there, for us, was in 2009. It had been asleep for the longest time, since Freddy vs. Jason, which I think was 2003. I could be wrong. I forget. But anyway, maybe it was in the 90s, Freddy vs. Jason. I can't remember. Late 90s, if it was. Anyway, Freddy vs. Jason had, it was pretty fun. It was kind of cool. There was one spot in that Freddy vs. Jason movie that was really dumb, when Freddy in the dream cut off the girl's nose from Destiny's Child, the black girl from Destiny's Child, cut off her nose, and then she wakes up and then she's got her nose back. That was really dumb. I mean, like, that's movie breaking. When the whole point of Freddy Krueger is when he hurts you in the dream, he hurts you in real life. That's supposed to be the whole thing. Not if you, wake up while in the middle of him killing you, you'll be just fine without a scratch. But, that's something for me. That's my canon. That, I'm sort of... But we expect... See, here's what I want you guys to learn. This is... I don't freak out over, the fact that they fucked up, like in Jason in 2009, the Friday the 13th movie. They had Jason with underground tunnels. You know how Jason in these movies just seems to appear out of nowhere, just sort of teleport. He keeps teleporting everywhere. And he just happens to be right in front, like when you turn around, it's like, oh my god, there's Jason. And then he chops your head off or something. Well, they explain that in the movie. And he's got he's got tripwires with bells on them. I don't know if you've seen the movie. Really? Tripwires with bells on them? And all those wires keep going all through his underground tunnel bunkers. So, and that's how he just happens to, that was dumb. Really? But, and, people came out in droves to see this new It movie. I've never been a fan. But all the money that this fucking movie made, the first one, $700 million for a horror movie. 700. Now it doesn't come close to Jaws or Exorcist. Exorcist isn't up here. It's over on the side. Um, but still, that is a huge turnout. It's up there. People really wanted to see the fucking new version of this goddamn It character, and they saw it. $700 million worth. But was it that good? No. It was okay. Not like I'm not a big It guy. I don't like it. You just leave the kids out of it. I don't want to see that. Like I guess you can imply it. You can put the kids in danger. Just I want to see them all okay. You know what I mean? I don't want to see them fucking with their arm chewed off in the trailer. But maybe that's why people went to go see it. It's like, oh fuck, they went there. Let's go see this. But then there was too much CGI and just I don't know. So I don't know why people like that so much. Maybe it's because it hasn't been touched in a while. It hasn't been touched since the I don't know. I'm gonna guess 80s, late 80s or early 90s when the original Tim Curry Pennywise hit it on the small screen. Maybe that's why it never got a big budget for the big screen. But now it's like everything is fucking Stephen King all over again. It's like there's 10 TV shows and 10 movies every year. And a lot of them don't even work. They just kind of crappy flops that. But okay, so what is the point? We have low expectations. Think of Hollywood as your children. When they paint a picture, your 10-year-old paints you a picture and says, hey, this is Grandma and Grandpa, and you look at it and it's just a bunch of squiggly lines, and you tell them, hey, that was really good. Maybe that's what Hollywood is now. They just don't know how to create really good stuff. And the agenda stuff, it's just like, I don't know, maybe they're embarrassed about how bad they're doing, how crappy their movies are, and maybe they've been, they're just trying something new. Well, God, attendance has been dropping for 20 years. 20 years, movie theater attendance has been dropping. These kids, all they want to do is play video games. We can't get them out to fucking see the movies anymore. They're fucking chained to the fucking video game controller in their dark bedrooms. Maybe. Maybe it's because you fucking shit all over this stuff. Like, and here's another one. See this guy? You might not recognize him, but he's from Day of the Dead. There was Night of the Living Dead. No, Night of the Dead. Day of the Dead, and then, Dawn of the Dead, and then Day of the Dead. This guy is from Day. This is the George A. Romero's Dead series. He's the zombie guy. Now, he did other things, too. He had a very long, illustrious career. But his last two movies, oh my lord, they were worse than bad. Oh my god. Some people put Night of the Dead. I think it's Night of the Living Dead. No, that's the other one. I can't remember. That's shame on me. But anyway. You think your Star Trek went off course? Or your Star Wars went off course? You ain't got nothing on us. George A. Romero came back. He did Night, Dawn, Day, Land. I think he did Land. And then he did Survival and Diary. Those last two, I don't even know. I think he's dead now. Those last two were so bad, it would blow your mind. I mean, those last, and he's old. Now, maybe people were saying, yeah, like maybe his people, everybody around him were saying, this guy has given us a great career. He's been doing the thing. He's been doing it, doing it, doing it, doing it, doing it, doing it. And gosh darn it, he wants to make some more movies. We know he ain't got it in him, but we're going to let him do it anyway. So here are these little micro budgets. We're going to get him his walker, and we're going to get him a full-time nurse. And got these, 100 actors or these 100 people that are just going to let this old man who made movies continue to make movies as long as he wants to. And we have no expectations. Because they're going to be... it was charity. It could have been. Maybe they thought, and, the hardcores, like, the hardcore zombie Romero fans, they'll probably get their money back. But my lord, are they bad. They're worse than bad. Like, what, I don't know which one's worse, but sometimes it's just like when you watch them, you go, okay, this person doesn't even know what a movie is. They're so bad. Does this person even understand what a movie is? But, maybe just old and senile. It's like John Carpenter, same thing. The guy who created probably, I think, the first mega hit low budget movie of all time. This movie was made for no money, but it made so much. The 1978 Halloween. And his last movie that he directed was called The Ward. W-A-R-D. The Ward. And the movie before that was Ghosts of Mars. The Ghosts of Mars, I think. The Ghosts of Mars was really bad. And then he went away for a while. He retired. But then he came back. And then he made The Ward. W-A-R-D. And the magic is gone with that guy. It was totally gone. Now, it's possible that somebody else made The Ward and they just paid him to put his name on it and pretend that like he directed it. It's possible. Because it's just such a bad, out-of-character movie. You wonder if he was actually really technically involved. But he says he was, and his name is on the film, so you got to go with that. But my God, is it terrible. And it's very un John Carpenter. I mean, this is a guy who made The Thing, which, by the way, the Freddy's chest, this two faces melted into one another, that's from The Thing. At least that's what I think it is. I doubt it's actually Freddy's chest. I think they just kind of put the two things together. But yeah, just so what did we do over here? Well, with the politics stuff, I'm going to start calling it out. I hope you guys invite me over to your streams and stuff. And when a horror movie comes on and you want the expert, and you want to hear the expert's view of the politics, invite me on. I'm the horror guy. But the problem is I don't care about Star Trek and Star Wars or video games or comic books. I just don't care about those things. Now, horror, I do care. Now, I'm not as crazy and big and at the top. Like I said, in the horror fandom, I'm at the bottom. But that's still way above normie levels. Way above normie. Way above normie. But there's also, super mega fans that are way above me. But I miss Elvira. Her stuff was fantastic. Love that stuff. Horror hosts, very underrated profession. Love them, love them, love them, love them. So, what, and like I said with canon, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, Michael Myers has been shit on and torn apart canon wise, Canon. I think it's one N, maybe it's two. Canon. Jason, my God, he was like, he wasn't even in one of his own movies. Um, he was a ghost spirit. Is he a real person? Is he a zombie? Sometimes he's actually a person. Sometimes he's a zombie. Sometimes he's both. There is no canon. Um, Day of the Dead, the Dead series. I mean, it started off on one of the highest notes of everything, and then it ends with fucking Turdvilles from the same person, the person who created really the modern zombie didn't create the zombie. That's a mistake. Zombies were around before. Now, he created the flesh-eating sort of slow zombie walk zombies. Okay, that he created. But there was uh, the Living Dead before George A. Romero. Um, but where are these films? I'm hoping this year that maybe Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson are going to be able to pull one out of the hat with Saw. But I mean, these Saw movies, oh my God, just in the toilet. Absolutely gone into the toilet. What about Killer Clowns from Outer Space or the uh, Night of the Living Dead? Um, Pretty sure I'm getting this right. Anyway, yeah, sort of horror fun. Fun horror. We don't get that anymore. The only way to get fun horror is low budget, not in the theater. So you have to go hunting for it. Don't you guys want to see some fun horror? Why wouldn't you? Why does everything have to be so horror have to be so fucking, it's all ghosts and it's also fucking serious. Or it's a creature feature. I mean, where's the fun? Where is the look at this. Remember him? Lost Boys. Like there's no movie stars left, but the Lost Boys with the kids kind of out there having some fun, and then they run into some fucking vampires, and then you listen to some rock and roll music, I don't even know what the rock and roll music is nowadays. It's all fucking hip hop. And I won't listen to that. So fucking take your hip hop and shove it up your ass. I don't want to hear it. But I mean some good like pop music blaring on the radio as you're in the comic stores talking about vampires. And then you're fighting vampires at the end of the movie. Just fun shit. Where is that? See, the Michael Myers, the Michael Myers. So, people wanted to like this 2018 movie so much that they just lied to themselves. I think it was the same thing with Star Wars. But we gotta be honest. The Michael Myers movies, the Halloween movies, it's a shit show. That's like one big pile of turds. But they're still fun. Um, I don't know. There's something charming about a bad movie. This is what I'm trying to get through. Like, can you like Star Trek Discovery? I don't know anything about Star Trek. Listen to me. I don't know anything about Star Trek. Okay? I know I've seen the movies and that's pretty much it. A couple of episodes of the TV show. That's it. Um and I can see where you guys are coming from and how everything is just getting shit on. But all of my stuff gets shit on too. The only thing I won't tolerate is the politics. I'll take a bad, you know, Pumpkinhead movie. Actually, I've never seen the Pumpkinhead. Um, I'll take a well. I'm kind of there's too many bad Chucky movies in a row. You need space between your bad movies. If you're just gonna keep giving us bad Chucky movies, then you need to space them out a little bit more than they did. Um, but yeah, I've seen all the Saw movies. I really enjoy them. And yes, I know that most of them are bad. And the story is so fucking outer space. I don't have no fucking idea what's going on. They break their own canon all the time. In these movies, Saw, it's supposed to be no murder. I don't kill. Murder is gross and disgusting. I don't do that. I give people the choice. They can either do these extreme things and survive, or if they don't do the extreme thing, then they die. But they're all given a choice. Well, except here and here and here and here and here and here and here. None of those people were given a choice. So the whole thing doesn't make any sense. Like literally, the Saw movies don't think about them too much because they don't fucking make sense. But why do I like them? Can I like something? See, you're trying to make Star Wars make sense. And I wonder if that isn't where your problem is coming from. What I'm trying to say is, I can enjoy these things as long as they're trying. If they're giving an honest effort into creating a Friday the 13th movie or a Jaws or something, if they're giving an honest to goodness attempt, then I can get behind it. Just leave the politics out of it and just give it an honest try. Then I can get behind it. Now I understand with the politics, and it's hard, like James Gunn. I'm telling you, when Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or sorry, Suicide Squad, I'm gonna advertise the fuck out of his pedophile tweets, his pedophile joke tweets. Yeah, I'm gonna try to tank the movie. Can I separate the art from the artist? I don't know. Like, we got Jeepers Creepers over here somewhere, and he's a convicted pedo. I mean, isn't that all of Hollywood? What the fuck's going on over there? Fucking Harvey Weinsteins and fucking Jesus Christ. um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but maybe the magic of Hollywood is over. Maybe it's over for everyone. Maybe it's even over for the people in the business. Maybe they're just doing it, kind of as a, bleh, I've been doing it this long, I'm just going to keep doing it. I think there's a lot of problems with the way they do everything. But I explained to you the best thing ever. Alien. Best movie watching experience of my life. So I would have been 80. If I was 10, then that would have been 1981. When did Alien come out? 78? I think it was 78. So it was only 3 years old, the movie. That was about the time, I think. I think Alien was 1978. Aliens was maybe it was a little later. I don't know. But it would go along with my theory of the the 80s. Everything up to and including the 80s was good, and everything after that is either a mixed bag in the 90s or shit, or written, or it was just a book turned into a movie, like your Harry Potter and um, Lord of the Rings. And you see how successful Peter Jackson was with Lord of the Rings, and he just said, I just want to adapt the books into the movie. I don't need to put any of myself in it. My job is to just take this thing and move it over here. You don't need to get creative. You don't need to get fancy about it. Just take this thing called the books and move it over here to the thing called the movie. That's it. But it's like, oh, I got a message to tell. I got some. Oh, but goodness, there's not enough black people. We got to tick some more boxes. Oh my God, let's make Superman gay. Oh my God, it's so tiring. And you wonder over there in Fandom Menace Land, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Why would they be shooting themselves in their own foot? Well, you have to get conspiratorial. You either have to say they don't care. They've already made all the money. If they didn't make any more money, they'd at least the people at the see. That's the thing too, right? If they don't make any more money, then they don't care, right? But that goes to show you how wrong their politics are, because they don't give a fuck about the homo that is serving up popcorn, right? They don't care about the black guy who got a job, cleaning up the movie theaters, right? They don't give a fuck about the female manager, the nighttime female manager of Cinema Uptown at X and X City in Ohio, right? They just are gonna. I'm just gonna slide my agenda in here because I'm right. Because I talk about hugging trees, and that means that I'm right and you're wrong. I don't put cow's milk in my coffee. That means I'm a good person, and you're a bad person. I don't know. So, like, they're gonna burn it all down. I hope they saved money, which I doubt they did, by the way. I bet you they're all in debt as far as you can get. Like, most of these people are probably a divorce or, that not. Look at Robin Williams. What a sad thing. Kept putting his, I think all he wanted to do was, play video games and make people laugh, but nobody left him alone. Maybe, suck his dick every once in a while. Leave him alone. But no, it was fucking divorce after divorce after divorce. I don't know. Maybe he was a wacko behind the scenes. I don't know. But my God, what a sad thing to see him go. By the way, you know what horror movie he was in? Do ya? Now, maybe he was in more, and I don't know. I'm sure I'm not an expert on all of it. But it was called 1 Hour Photo. Now, it was a pretty dumb movie. Like 1 hour photo. I just didn't like the idea. It was already when cameras were, like kind of being thrown away. It was all digital. But out comes this horror movie starring Robin Williams called 1 Hour Photo. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the movie. But it was like, just like the remainder of people who still used film. and would get their films developed at the fucking, department store. And it wasn't that good of a movie, by the way. It was okay, but not really. It was, I don't know. I just, what, it wasn't a good, it wasn't a good evil role for him. But anyway. So, like I said, what do you do, right? What do you do? Um, you sit back and relax, you know, um, laugh about the bad ones. Don't take it too serious. Don't get all upset. Don't let it ruin your day. When it's so bad you just have to say goodbye, say goodbye. Limit your exposure to this stuff. You know, last year there was Pet Cemetery and Child's Play. I think those were the two big remakes of that year. Well, It Chapter 2, I think that was last year. Um, but I didn't see any of them. I didn't like it enough. The original. I didn't really love it. It was okay. Um, Chapter 1 didn't, like I said, everybody fucking $700 million later, like the best, oh, it's the best thing ever. Or like you just got to see it. Everybody's fucking emptying their wallets out on this movie, and I'm like, it was all right. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I don't know. And then the second one, I just said no to it. Pet Cemetery. I listened to some people talk about it, and it wasn't as good as the first one. So why would I want to see it? The first one is a masterpiece. Yes, I use those words over here. Again, I am biased. I understand that I rate horror movies higher than most people, just like you rate Star Trek higher than most people, just like you rate comic books higher than most people. That's what we do. That's what this whole thing is about. But Jason Blum going through his terror with the fucking far left politics, I'm not seeing any of his stuff. I'm done. Jason Blum is on boycott for me. The politics in his movies have gone so far off the fucking. But then again, it's not taking much for me to say no to this stuff because it's just so bad. I don't think that there was any SJW anything in the new Pet Cemetery movie. But everything about it looked not as good, and all of the feedback that I got from it was not as good. So I just don't, like there was no SJW in it. It's just the decline, the decay of Hollywood. There's many reasons for it, and I talk about them all the time. I'm not going to go into all of it right here. But I think you just relax. Kind of expect it to be bad. They've ruined everything. They don't know how to do anything. When was the last magical movie that you saw? Magical. Actually, I'm kind of thinking Alien was 1978. I want to check. 1979, I mean. And if that's true, then 1979, there you go. That means that, I was probably about 10, so it was 2 years after it came out. I don't know, just understand that Hollywood doesn't make good movies anymore. And on top of that, they're infecting them with this, they're turning up. By the way, it's always been there. The communist propaganda, the far left propaganda, and the right wing. There used to be a right wing in Hollywood, but it's no longer. It's all left. The switchover took place about the same time that everything started to go downhill. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. But at the time that the right was literally kicked out of Hollywood is the time that it all started to go south. Imagine that. Just like a country. Just like anything. Of course, the left is going to ruin everything. If it is left to run wild, of course it's going to. That's what left does. It's about power and control, and once you have too much power and too much control, everything goes to shit. Communism. You can't whip everybody into doing what you want them to do all the time. It becomes unproductive. But the left is always about more power, more control, more. Right? And the right talks a nice libertarian game, but they never follow through. Let's be honest. The reason why we're on the right is because we want individual people to live a right-wing life. Personal responsibility, common decency, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. All the sort of normal things. Don't fucking hire drag queens to strip for your 10-year-old daughter for her birthday. Shit like that. We're converting individuals to lead good lives. We're not going to fix the government. Look at fucking George Bush. He didn't fucking do a goddamn thing. It was just bigger war, bailouts, fucking the TSA, fucking Patriot Act, Homeland Security. He was terrible. Absolute garbage. What good thing did he do? I don't remember anything. But individually, person to person, you can get through to them and you can get them to feel at peace with themselves and the world around them. And that's a beautiful thing, and that's why we are right wing. Or that's why I am, anyway. Maybe you think George Bush was a good guy. I'd call you wrong, but... Yeah, just realize and understand that your TV shows are going to be crap because they don't know how to make good stuff anymore. But it's been like that for a long time. There is nothing magical. If they have somebody at the top and with a whip and just say, put that book onto the movie. Just do that. Turn that book into a movie. No more, no less. Then yes, they can do it. 50 Shades of Grey. But everything else they try to do creatively, oh my God. It's terrible. But you can't let it bother you. It's just over. This monopoly, this big multi-million, tens and hundreds of millions of dollars putting into a single 2-hour video, those days are over. Those days are over. It's nepotism, it's casting couches, it's vanity, it's lack of creativity. Just think about the nepotism thing alone. Instead of hiring the right person for the job, and then you add the fucking diversity quotas, instead of hiring the right person for the job, you're just hiring the person because they're a fucking brother, or they're black, or they're gay or something. Really? And we wonder why, Hollywood is fucking going to shit. Really, where are these really amazing stories? Really well told. Are we ever going to see another E.T.? And even the old guys. Like these guys won't fucking go away. I hate to break it to you. Again, George Lucas is shit. Steven Spielberg is shit. Ready Player One was a bad movie. I said it. Bad movie. He's trying to figure out the kids and their video game shit. Oh my lord. James Cameron made Alita. And it was shit. And by the way, you fans out there that wanted Alita's eyes to be bigger and stupid looking? Yeah, that's why I didn't see the movie. Because they were bigger and stupid looking. You guys may have said that, well, it has to look closer to the anime, and I was like, that looks dumb. I'm not. Why do her eyes look so stupid? So in that instance, at least for me, you turned me off. I haven't seen it, and nor do I want to. And then I heard some other things about the movie that just turned me off even more. Relax. Hollywood just doesn't have what it takes anymore to make good content. Sometimes you can be fooled. The Force Awakens, Halloween 2018 for me. You can be fooled, but really, in a couple of months, you're going to revisit that movie and you're going to go, oh, yeah, that was kind of shit. Avengers Endgame, we all like that, but it really was just kind of shit, wasn't it? Doesn't make any sense. The fucking time travel stuff doesn't make any sense. Fucking, Thanos is back, and of course everybody's going to come back to life. Because it's Marvel and we're comics and that's what we do. Just death doesn't mean anything anymore in the comic book realm. Because we're just gonna do a prequel now. It's just like the fucking horror movies. I'm telling you. Them bringing everybody back and them doing prequels and them, all this shit that they're doing in the comic books reminds me of horror. You know how they kill the bad guy at the end of the movie, but he always comes back for the next one? Well, that's comic books now. Death doesn't mean anything. They'll be back. They don't have what it takes. The magic is gone. And then with them on Twitter, just fucking, they're spewing their vile hatred of everyone that doesn't think like them. Wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Imagine working at McDonald's and your manager letting you berate customers for wearing a MAGA hat or an I'm with her hat. Imagine being that fucking McDonald's manager. It's so gross. Right? But that's what Hollywood is now. They just let their employees run around and do whatever. It was really nice of Jim Carrey to put aside his fighting fascism long enough to sell Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, that's so gross. He's been fighting literally Hitler for years in his fucking closet, weird-ass fucking number 23 apartment. But then he, I gotta sell a movie now, time to put that aside for a little bit. Don't worry, before the election I'll get right back to it again after I get your money. And then you wonder why people are resentful. Oh, and trust me, Jim Carrey's coming back. Not unless they've already got a sequel planned. Maybe he'll stay away from it a little longer. I don't know. But imagine this, like, oh, Trump is Hitler, all, his supporters are fucking Nazis. Everybody's a fucking Nazi. Oh, can I have your money now? Didn't you call me a Nazi yesterday? Yeah, but that was yesterday. Today I'm not calling you a Nazi. Can I have your money? Can you come to my business and give me money? Come to my movie so that I can make some money? Yeah, but yesterday you were literally every day for 3 years you've been yelling and screaming at me in the most vile, disgusting ways on Twitter. Yeah, but that was, a year ago and 2 years ago and 3 years ago. Now I want your money. Oh my lord. Um, and the top movies this year. What a bad selection of movies. I mean, that's the best. Like that's the Oscar best. Wow. My God, how far have we sank? Like this Invisible Man. If you watch the original and you think of the technology, and then you actually think about it behind the scenes and how they accomplished what they accomplished, it blows your mind at how creative and innovative and how awesome they were. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's fucking fantastic. And the story is interesting. Guy makes an invisibility potion, turns himself invisible, but one of the chemicals that he used is also going to turn him crazy. So he's, crazy slash invisible. He's invisible slash going crazy. Crazier by the day. And then what happens? And it runs the gamut. Like a kid kind of playing with, making practical jokes, like little innocent practical jokes, to fucking killing everybody. And everywhere in between. But no, the new Invisible Man is about an abusive husband that goes to the ends of the earth to abuse his wife, including putting on an invisibility suit, faking his own death, and using $5 million as a carrot to lure her in. So it's basically turned into an abusive husband movie. It's a movie about, I guess, the survivor. It's not even about him. The movie's about her, and he's not even invisible. He's wearing an invisible suit. It's so crazy. So all he has to do is take the suit off, and he's like not invisible. It's the suit. He's wearing a bodysuit that covers his head. That's so. And you could think that's good? Like, I mean, why not just grab her, knock her out, and then chain her into your basement? Why would you go through all that? Just to make her crazy. Jesus, it's so dumb. And, it's all, like I said, with Jason Blum, it's all fucking agenda these days. It's all agenda. Well, we've got each other. You know, you got the internet, you got your forums, you got your social media. You can just hang out together. You got YouTube. We can hang out together. We can laugh together. We can point at the stupid. We can point out. And one important thing to do is to point out all of the propaganda so that, the next generation or the younger people or the people who aren't as knowledgeable. And see, here's the thing. You shouldn't have to be an expert at political propaganda to enjoy a fucking movie. But unfortunately, they forced us into this, especially in my world. Half of the horror movies are from Jason Blum. And these days, they're almost all chock full of so much propaganda. It's like they're propaganda first. You haven't seen bad until you watch the 1974 Black Christmas. 1974. Forget about the 2006. Forget about that movie for a moment. Watch the 1974 Black Christmas. And then watch. Actually, if you wanted to, you could watch the remake in 2006. At least their heart was in the right place. It's not a good movie, but they tried. And then watch the 2019 Black Christmas. You want to see how bad horror is? You think you got it bad over there in Doctor Who world or Star Trek or Star Wars? Uh-uh. I think Black Christmas is as bad as it gets. You know, another horror person was trying to excuse it by talking about unplanned. Unplanned. Now, you probably don't know about that movie, but it was literally a Christian movie about abortion. And we all know what those movies are about. They are pro-life and anti-abortion. Unplanned, an unplanned pregnancy, unplanned. Very explicitly, and all of the marketing made no bones about what this movie was about. It's a very low budget, kind of crappy Christian movie about abortion. Very explicit. Very in your face. No tricks. No tricks. Very obvious, obvious, obvious. It was an honest Christian movie about abortion. And even the title says it all right there. Unplanned. All of the trailers very explicitly told you that it was about abortion and that it was a Christian movie. There is no question. And he was comparing that to Black Christmas. This is how bad things have gotten, folks, on our side. With our commentary, you call them the access media or whatever, horror YouTubers, just people talking about horror movies. Are you kidding me? Black Christmas was Black Christmas in name only. They plastered that name on that movie just to trick you into watching a far left gender studies play. It was all propaganda. It had no relation other than the fact that it was a sorority and it took place at Christmas time. That was it. If there was anything else, I didn't see it. Maybe there was one of the kills that was kind of similar. One of the greatest horror villains of all time, Billy. Or at least what they call Billy. The bad guy in the original Black Christmas, in my opinion, is the most disturbing. And look at all these disturbing people I'm looking at. All these disturbing individuals. This clown over here likes to eat children when they're afraid. It's pretty fucking disturbing, right? This thing over here eats brains. This thing over here, well, it's just a big fish. You know what I mean? You got Michael and Jason and this guy. Well, sometimes he's the pedophile, but I don't like the pedophile Freddy. I don't like that one. But he's gonna compare Unplanned, an obviously truthfully honest movie about abortion, because it had an agenda. Of course it had an agenda, and it was very explicit about it. It told you what its agenda was from the outset. Black Christmas was an agenda-driven movie they tricked you into to go see. It was a complete and utter lie. There's no comparison between the two. But, you got to shit on the right wing and you got to shit on the Christians because that's what they do. Comparing Unplanned to fucking Black Christmas, that's like apples and oranges. They both have an agenda, and one is right wing and the other one is left wing. And by the way, although pro-life people, there are pro-life leftists, liberals, Democrats, um, and technically, I'm pro-choice. I think you're a slutty, murderous whore if you get an abortion. You are a disgusting, murderous bitch, stupid whore, like all the words. Just put them in here. I think you're a disgusting human being, low life, irresponsible. But I still think that you gotta, I just think that the solution is worse than the problem. I don't want to fucking. What are you gonna do? You gonna if a girl does the coat hanger thing, what are you gonna do? Put her in prison? Is that gonna help anything? Why is she so loose and fast and loose with her vagina in the first place? Yeah, I think it's a societal problem. I think the problems are much bigger than just some girl, all horned up and with a guy that's also all horned up. And there's no rubbers, and she forgot to take her pill that day because she was too drunk or whatever. It's just I just think that the solution, the pro-life, if you were to make abortion illegal, I think that solution is worse. But I still get to call her a fucking irresponsible, slutty whore, murderous whore, right? That's my mouth. I get to do with what I want. But you don't get to compare the two. Oh my God. It's like, I don't know, it's like going to church, going to a Baptist church, and it being like a fucking orgy. You were tricked. You thought you were going in for one thing, but you got something else. You got something different. And and that was Black Christmas. Whereas with the Unplanned movie, you knew exactly what you were getting into. This was marketed to Christians, for Christians. It was Christian propaganda all the way, yes. It's like going to fucking, trainee school and then getting a math lesson. No, we're here to learn how to become better trannies. Or whatever it is, right? I shouldn't have said that, maybe. I forgot I'm on YouTube now. I gotta watch my mouth. But, yeah, just leave people alone. But anyway, yeah, so that was crazy, that comparison. Um, so, yeah, you just gotta relax. You gotta understand that Hollywood is just a big bundle of poop that just keeps pooping out more poop. And it's just like there's so many layers of broken the lack of creativity, the too much money. They're not hungry for it anymore. The just them kicking everybody to the right of fucking Mao to the curb. So it's all just lefties stewing in each other's diversity and tolerance. Casting couches, child labor, shaky cam. Like some of it's not theirs. They're also competing against video games. Too many commercials on television. You know, the lawyers are all over fucking everybody. Trying to sue everybody because of intellectual property, copyright laws. YouTube is just quicker and easier, so that's a big competitor. There's all sorts of problems, and some of it has nothing to do with the people in Hollywood. Like literally, the biggest one is the fucking cell phone. The second, I would say, is video games. Those are the two big things that are competing with, the cell phone. I mean, when you can watch a movie anywhere, and you can make a movie with your phone, you can make or watch a movie with your phone. I mean, it just devalues, and it's in your pocket. It devalues the whole thing. The entire experience just comes down a notch. It's like, oh, I'm staring at a screen all the time, and you want me to go pay to go see a movie on top? My eyes are in my fucking phone all day. And now you want me to go see a bigger phone? No thanks. You know what I mean? I'm serious. I'm not joking. And that has nothing to do with the people in Hollywood. They, they can't uninvent telephones or smartphones. So, yeah, you gotta smile. So, what we do with the crap that is being thrown our way is point at it, laugh at it. We create friends. We make even little miniature businesses. Like when they do their stupid episode of TV, then I see lots of people come out over here to YouTube and they talk about that episode and how stupid it was. And they're racking up the fucking advertisement dollars themselves, right? And when I looked into it, like I only looked into it for 5 seconds. So take what I am about to say with a grain of salt. A really, 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 really big grain of salt. But the YouTubers are making as much as TV. Now, the YouTubers, Google is taking what, 40% of that? So YouTube is taking a big chunk, like Google. But I'm talking about the money, money stuff. The money that goes to commercials on TV is the same money that is coming over here to YouTube. And people are getting a big cut of that. A pretty substantial cut of that. Individuals. And that's a good thing. That's beautiful. So if you've got, I don't watch Doctor Who. But I certainly like watching Doomcock and Gary from Nerdrotic, talk about how crappy the latest episode was. I really wish they would realize that a lot of us aren't watching this stuff, so they have to remember that they're talking to dummies. Like I don't even know what a fucking Time Lord is. You can say that word, and I go, well, it probably has something to do with a lord and time, but that's all I know. I don't really care. But and I like, heel versus babyface. I've been watching his stuff too. I used to watch The Quartering for video game news and information, but I don't like him anymore. He's too fake. Don't like him. I don't think he's terrible. It's just not my speed. I'll get my entertainment news elsewhere. I just don't think he's a genuine person. Um, I've seen so many contradict. See, like when you're a liar, it's easy to catch you in lies. When you're not genuine, it's easy to catch you in lies. You say one thing one day and then the opposite thing the next day, and you're not connecting the dots. But a smart person who is paying attention is connecting the dots. Um, but yeah, just and we're gonna create our own things over here, and we're going to, like in the last video, I told you a story. I told you a story, and we can do that. We can just sit back and do it ourselves. We can tell each other stories. We can tell each other jokes. When you're, whether, you know, yeah, we can just enjoy each other's company. We can, all these stories that, you know, these people are telling, we don't need them. We can tell our own stories and our own, maybe they're trying to make it so that all of television is for people on the left. All of movies are for people on the left. It all has their sensibilities, and they don't care about right-wing people at all. And so, okay, well, we'll leave. Then we'll go over here and we'll do our own thing. And that's what we'll do. And now you can have all your comic book heroes to be black, female, lesbian, one-armed, you know, uh, you know, warriors. Every single one of them. Just make them all that way. All of Hollywood is now, you know, for the left. Good. Bye. See ya. Okay, so I'm going to call that here. We're creating something over. Don't take this stuff so seriously. You can learn something from a horror fan. Like, our shit has been dragged through the mud and back and through the mud and back and through the mud. And I'll tell you this right now. It is possible to bring Jason back to life and make an amazing, amazing movie. Absolutely. It can be done. It could very well be done. So your Star Wars could literally, the Hollywood, everything could go away. And a new Star Wars thing could come out, and it could be amazing. Now, you and I both know that if a lefty did make it, they would have to put a cap on their leftism, right? Because we're not interested in this fucking, you know, hardcore agenda that they're pushing. But it is very possible. In 10 years from now, let's just say Hollywood is over. It's all gone. Television is gone. It's all streaming. And they've learned their lesson. And there's been a really big shakeup. A really, really, really big shakeup. Twitter is no more. No more actors, tweeting out how much they hate this group and that group. And white privilege is now, they finally come to their senses and they realize that, yeah, we're just being bigots. Whatever, right? And even if they win, they lose. You know what I mean? The left always loses. 100% of the time. Now, maybe it's not right this very second, but, the left always loses. The bigger your government gets, the more power you give your government, the more the whole thing falls apart. It's the same thing with everything. Once you move down a road of immorality, you're fucking talking about communism and socialism like they're good things. Well, you can be as dumb as you want to be. You can push all the stupid and the evil that you want to push. But guess what? Now you got to live in it. And even the people at the top, they got to live in it too. Yeah, sure, they get all the kings and the queens and the crowns and stuff, but I mean, they're ruling over, a garbage heap. I hate to bring it up, but look at Africa. Okay, sure, the kings and the queens are doing all right, but I mean, once you look out over the your castle walls, and you go, oh wow, it's a fucking shit show out there, isn't it? Fucking, you're proud of that. That's what you're the king of the fucking African country. That's a shithole. Okay, whatever. But anyway, smile, buck up. It's only going to get better from here. It's all okay. We don't need them. We can do it ourselves. We got to be diligent. We got to hang together. Our little petty differences are meaningless. There's much bigger fish to fry. You got a freaking commie running for president. Like Star Trek doesn't matter when you know when the I don't know, in perspective, right? Entertainment and fun is all good, but the people that watch this stuff are even better, and that's what we got. They can't take that from us. We will sit around here and talk about the things that we enjoy and why Michael is better than Jason, or Jason is better than Michael, or Star Trek versus Star Wars, whatever, right? Um, and just have fun with each other. And we're just going to point at the absurdity of Hollywood and how bad it's gotten on all these different levels. We're going to help each other recognize those problems and where they went wrong, and we're just going to enjoy it. You know, it's like, I don't know. You okay? So you're living in a neighborhood, right? And you got two really, really, really bad neighbors, and they just keep fighting back and forth, back and forth. But you get along with, say, both of them, but they hate each other, and when they're going at it, you can either get really tensed up and really feel bad about it, and feel like it's a problem that you need to fix. They're fucking screaming at each other over the fence, or you can just sit back and go, I've talked to them both. I've tried to knock some sense into them. I told them both that they're both good people, but they just want to keep fighting. So I'm just gonna sit here and grab some popcorn and enjoy the show. Just that's the way it is. Just sit back and relax and enjoy it. And maybe when they calm down, you can try to talk some sense into them again. But then they get all flared up and they're like, oh, huff off, and they go back to what they were doing before. Well, maybe they'll come around, maybe they won't. Doesn't matter, right? Anyway, okay, that's it. That's it. I'm done for sure this time. Anyway, we will see you next time. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye now.